Welcome to Medical Student Life in Japan, a podcast created by a teacher and a group of medical students at Nara Medical University.
Our members are Yuriko, a third-year medical student, Gento, Taiga, Taika, Koichi, and Misaki, all second-year medical students, Yuka, a second-year nursing student, Suguru and Koshiro, both first medical students, and our teacher, Michael.
We are a small medical college in the Kansai region of Japan. This podcast has two great purposes.
One is to share stories about being a medical student here in Japan.
And also for our students to share fun ideas, opinions, and information about Japanese culture to people all over the world.
Thanks a
Thanks
lot
a
for
lot for listening.
Okay, welcome to Medical Student Life in Japan. Today we have a very special guest, Shuhei from 6th year at Nara Medical University. Hello, Shuhei.
Yeah. Hello, nice to meet you.
Okay, great. So in today's podcast, for the most part, the students will be interviewing Shuhei, especially Yuriko. She, much like Shuhei, is studying for the USMLE, which is an important test to get a medical license in America. And Shuhei has some experience with that. So they'll have a nice interview. And then Koshiro and Suguru, our first-year students, will ask a couple questions to Shuhei. But just real quick, to start the podcast, Shuhei and I came to the university at the same time. So this is Shuhei's 6th year, but this is also my 6th year. So I remember Shuhei well. How has it been over your 6 years? You've had a good experience at Nara Medical University?
6 years have passed so quickly.
Quickly, yeah.
Yeah.
What are some of the highlights of your 6 years here? Do you have any great memories so far?
It's difficult to decide the best.
Like, for example, maybe I do know Shuhei is a member of the ESS club, which is our English club. Do you have a great memory from the ESS club?
It's like I have worked ESS club for around 2 years in the Medical University, and also 2 years for the WGM. It's like an ESS clubs association in the Kansai area.
That's an association. So you connect with other English clubs at other universities.
Yes.
Right.
And working to prepare for the game or matches or
doing something like debate or speech contest and things like that, right? Yeah.
Also prayer and also it's like how difficult. It's like here this situation like that.
Some discussions
or making studio stages and preparing for the praise.
I see. Yeah.
Also working for accountant.
Oh yeah, I do know about that. Yeah.
So long time.
I do remember that. Shuhei was always the accountant.
So long. So I'm just a bit know about the financial problems.
A financial problem.
I've never solved that.
You never solved it. I understand. Yeah, I do remember that. And now you're in your 6th year, so you'll be finishing up in a few months.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm here only 3 months.
Right. So you'll have the national exam in February?
February.
The beginning of February.
Yes.
Yeah. And then once you pass that, because I know you will, then you'll come back in March for graduation.
Yes.
And then you'll be done. If you don't mind, can I ask one or two more questions? Because recently on the podcast, we had Sho from the SS Club, as you know. He graduated last year, and he's now interning at a hospital. Do you have any ideas about your next step after you graduate? Or are you thinking about it, or where you might like to go? Or
Still, I'm now thinking of think of that, but it's difficult to answer the best.
Yeah.
It's difficult to decide.
It is difficult.
Life is difficult.
Life is difficult.
It's
Yeah.
not the things. It's not the thing I say for as a 24 years old student.
Yeah.
But
No, I understand.
yeah,
That's a big decision.
big decision.
And then maybe you'll spend 2 years,
Yeah,
at,
2 years.
at some hospital, right?
2 years is decided where to work.
Yeah.
For detail is not decided now, but
Oh, okay.
for in Japan, Nara Prefecture for 2 years.
Okay, so you'll stay in Nara. Oh, great. Well, that's good. You'll be close by. Yeah, yeah. Because we have a few students like you who graduated, and it's nice when they come back and visit. So
Maybe most of the students going out.
several of them have gone, yeah. So we don't get to see them much, but it is nice when they are able to drop by. So that's great. Okay, well, so 6th year, you'll be doing the exam soon. You'll pass that, graduate, and then be a doctor, and at least spend a couple years here in Nara, and then maybe at some point off in the world somewhere, whether it's around Japan or even in America. So, okay, well, let's get into the podcast shortly. Next up will be Yuriko, and she's going to interview Shuhei about the USMLE, among other things. So let's enjoy listening to them in this great interview. Thanks a lot.
Hi, hello.
Yeah, hello.
Today we're inviting a special guest, Shuhei. He is a senior member of the ESS club, and during his school days he has passed step 1 of USMLE and is now trying hard for passing step 2. Just in case, USMLE is United States Medical License Examination, and it includes 3 steps. Step 1 mainly contains experimental medicine such as microbiology, pharmacology, biochemistry, and things like that. On the other hand, step 2 includes clinical medicine. So, Japanese medical students usually learn experimental medicine in their second or third grade. So we can prepare from 3rd or 4th grade for step 1. And we're going to interview Shuhei today and disclose how to pass USMLE. Can I ask about step 1?
Okay.
When did you pass it?
Yeah, I passed this step on October 27th. Yeah.
To 2021
Yes,
year.
this year.
Okay, and how did you study for it, and what materials did you use?
I mainly used online UWorld and the medical book about. The title is First Aid for the USMLE Step 1, the latest version. That's Bible for the USMLE Step 1. It's essential.
Okay, and I also use UWorld, as you said. It's an online workbook, and I have to complete solving 40 questions in one block in an hour to pass step 1, but it took me a lot to complete those questions. How did you make it on time?
In fact, I still difficult to solving 40 questions in an hour, because UWorld is essentially difficult. But yes, difficult books, difficult questions. So the point, just a clue. It's about a skill to shorten the necessary time for solving. Is just looking for the keywords of the questions, and before solving questions, you need to look at the choice briefly. Well, for example, you may be you maybe see answer choice in serotonin or norepinephrine or dopamine. This substance is also related to psychiatric materials. So if you see briefly, you will understand that questions ask about the psychiatric problems or related to some of the diseases or so.
I see. That's great idea to look through the answer choice at first. I'll use the strategy and maybe I can reduce the time to solve all the questions.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I'm going to interview about step 2. When will you take it?
Yep, I'm gonna take step 2 before the graduation ceremony around March.
And which is easier for you to take step 1 or step 2?
For me, in my case, step 2 is slightly easier than step 1.
Why?
Because I have studied around over a year for clinical medicine in my hospital. So just understanding the disease etiology or pathology or treatment and what I need to be careful of that. That makes easier to understand.
Okay, I see. And I heard that step 1 correlates step 2 to some degree. Is it real? If it's real, what content is similar?
For me, I don't think like that. Indeed, I take step 1 first, so some of the things I learned in the step 1 is also useful in step 2. That makes step 2 easier, but step 2 asks only 320 questions in an 8 hour. From the sphere is from the top of the head and tips of your heel. Only 320 questions. You cannot do it. I'm not sure what a lot of questions asked in the sphere. Maybe some of the subjects you are good at and others you are not good at. It depends on you and also me. Some of the questions, if you are good at, you can understand, you can solve questions correctly and more quickly than usual. But if not, maybe you struggle with that and maybe lower the score previous than step 1, or maybe you have solved. It's finally depends on your luck.
Okay, thank you. And I'm going to interview about matching. When do you want to get residency in the US?
Please ask me the future Shuhei. In fact, I'm not decided when I'm going to get residency program in the US. Because of the COVID-19, the situation dramatically changed and now still changing. For example, you are interested in step 1, but the score, now we have step 1 score, but in next January, you will only see the pass or fail, not the score. That's only that things change the strategy of your exam, step 1. Also, the residency program is changing. It's like ECFMC certificate. In order to take the US residency program, previously we don't need to work to get US ECFMZ certificate, but now to get ECFMZ certificate, we need to work in the US hospitals for 1 year, at least 1 year, even though difficult situations. So the time limit has changed. It's like, in order to get US medical license permanent, before work for USMLE is necessary. Previously not necessary. So also US programs, US residency program, strategy is now changing. Maybe I heard a rumor of the step 2 CK discontinued will be renewed and coming back. I'm not sure, but still dramatically changing. So I'm not sure. I cannot say for sure when exactly I'm going to the US residency program.
Okay, thanks. And to get residency, is there anything you are working on other than studying for USMLE?
Unfortunately, now nothing. Now nothing. But in the next 2 years, I work in the hospital in Japan, but as a first the junior residence. I need to make a connection between the U.S. hospitals, professors, and me.
I see the connection is really important to get interview and get the job from a hospital in the U.S.
Yeah, in order to get apply for the U.S. residency program, we need the recommendation from the professors. At least one letter is the United States only. That's extremely hard for me, because only in Japan.
Yeah. Okay. Then last question is, how have you been successful at both USMLE and exams at college?
Really? Both successful? Not. The results seems like both successful, but the time course is different. So now I'm studying for 6th grade for USMLE, not for Japanese medical license. But previous year, 5th or 4th year, I only study for Japanese medical license. And if I were to take the USMLE step, not USMLE, Japanese medical license in the 5th grade, I could have passed. So the season is different. Yeah, I prepared for the Japanese medical license, and now for USMLE.
Okay, thanks. That's it.
Hello, I'm Koshiro Manaka. I'm a first-year medical student. I don't know so much about medical thing, so I want to ask about the student life in NMU.
Student life.
Yeah, so now I'm struggling at the first year, the final exam. So which year was the most difficult for you?
From the first year to 6th grade?
Yes, yeah.
First. It's difficult to answer. What years? The worst, it's like a most difficult season. I memorize is first year's math exam is the horrible.
Really?
That subject is the only subject I failed. I regret that.
So other subject was not so hard for you?
subjects, maybe I studied biology at my high school, so medicine is biology and medicine is related, so maybe easier to understand. So just a bit physics is difficult.
I see.
That time.
Yeah, I took physics at high school, so maybe it will be hard to do biology.
Yeah, I understand your situations. Because to enter this university, especially not related to this university, all over the medical university, it's easier to get high marks on physics than biology. Yeah. So it's entering the medical school, physics is very useful.
Yes.
But after maybe finishing first or the second year, biology is extremely useful. Not working in physics. But it depends on your strategy. Entering is necessary, and graduation is also necessary.
Yes.
What is the point to be a doctor?
Do you think like I should study biology from like high school textbook?
High school, yeah, some extent related to human biology is human medicine. Not necessary to study for plants or maybe evolution of them. Just a bit necessary, but not full. Not take full much for your power to on that.
I see.
And the good and other way is that asking friends to the biology who have studied in biology in high school.
Okay. Thank you. This is my question. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Suguru, and I'm a first-year medical student. So I have one question.
Right.
We are medical students, and we study mainly medics or pharmacies or diseases and treatments. But in the real diagnosis, we need communication skills or how to ask the patient their backgrounds. So do we have a chance to study such kind of things in the next 5 years?
Next 5 years. That's a good question because in my grade we don't have behavioral science. That's the important subject. It's like how to communicate with patients. Just a skill, but if you don't learn about how to do the skills, we cannot do that. Never do that. At least, but just learning is not also not useful because in order to use is important. But before use that, we need to how to get that skills. It's like if you want to good at some of the sports, you need to learn about what the sports do. What the court is like that. If you learn nothing about that, you cannot do right sports. Before do that, learning is important. And after that, in the hospitals, you need to do the skills is important.
In the hospital. Actually, we have a behavioral science class.
That's good.
So we have maybe just a little knowledge, but we don't have a chance to practice them. No, it is a situation for me.
Just a little, but practice
Yeah.
And if we want to practice more, USMLE's behavioral science makes you help a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. That is maybe if you are willing to study for the USMLE,
Yeah.
Japanese medical students struggle with that subject.
Yeah.
Extremely difficult because we haven't learned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we are shy people. Yeah.
Also me.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.